the Chicago Sky right now are clinging to 8th place.
Okay. Yeah.
And they've had 4 games, I think, since the post-Olympic break, and they've lost 3 of them. So it's been a struggle for the Chicago Sky. And look, I have said on our segments that I thought the Chicago Sky were making the playoffs. I said that thinking Marina Mabrey was going to finish the season with the team, and the Chicago Sky shocked us. Again, we said we haven't been here for a while, and they traded Marina Mabrey. And so they were already down Elizabeth Williams. They've already lost like so much offensive firepower. And then when they had to start back after the post-Olympic break, Kennedy Carter was ill and missed the game. So, you know, they didn't have the most favorable schedule coming out the break. And then they had some other things to deal with. Now they have to, again, adjust to new lineups again, all of these things. So I think for them to have these 2 latest losses to the Connecticut Sun and the Aces, and they were both games that they could have won, I know we don't like moral victories. I know they don't want to hear about a moral victory, but I think it says a lot about that team. I think some wins are about to come, Callie.
I believe you. I mean, I think that, I don't know how deep we want to go into the playoff conversation at this point, but I mean
like, for them, I want to examine their playoff hopes. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, you look at the people ahead of them, they will play some of those people again. And so it's like, like you said, a win is going to come. Teresa Weatherspoon has said, like, they don't have a towel to throw in. And it's like so evident in the way that they play. I think that if you get more scoring out of your post players, like Angel, like Camilla, that makes a huge difference. Like, because right now I think Camilla had like 8 points in that loss to the Aces. And if they could like maybe get her involved a little bit more offensively, that could make a huge difference. And like you said, like
the game before, I think Camilla had 18 points. It was a season high for her in the loss to the Sun. So I think from everything I'm seeing post break, and she's starting, that's part of their plan. That's what it appears to be.
Right. They're working there. They're getting there. So I think that I don't know. I like if they don't make the playoffs, I'll be sick. Like, I need to see them in the playoffs just because of the type of energy they bring to games. Like, you want to see that. I mean, Asia mentioned this after the game winner over them. She was like, this is like what people come to see. Like, this is the entertainment. You know what I mean? Like, her finish, but also Kennedy's bucket. Like, Kennedy is primetime TV. If like, I need to see her in the postseason. So I think that, they're going to fight like heck to make it happen.
Is the sky falling though? That was the question for Chicago. Is the sky falling? I don't think we should look at it like that yet. I think a lot of people are just like, oh my God, they're just losing now. They're on this losing streak. And I know people don't like to talk about moral victories, but I need everyone to kind of take a breath and remember the Chicago Sky are not supposed to be here right now. People had them ranked 12th. People did not think they were going to make the playoffs. They are in the playoff picture. They have lost a substantial amount of their scoring by losing Elizabeth Williams first, by coming into the season without Kalia Copper, Alana Smith, right? Courtney Williams. Some of these players are doing big things for the Minnesota Lynx right now, right? Like, they lost a lot of their firepower, and then they went and they lost Marina Mabrey at the trade, like, right before the Olympics, okay? So they are still here. They still have a chance. It's going to be close. I don't know. But I think, Kennedy Carter said, we're going to learn from this. Right. You mentioned what Teresa said, Witherspoon. So I think what you said is right, Callie. I think you mentioned that they need to kind of rely on their post. I mean, I think their offense at this point is through Kennedy Carter. She's their best. I'm not here to debate who's their best player, but she is their most dynamic offensive player for sure.
Yeah. Right? I mean, I wouldn't argue with you on that. Who's going to argue? I mean, but okay.
I'm not even getting to that. I'm just saying she's their most dynamic offensive player. And obviously Camilla is now coming into her own. As she was hurt to start the season, but we saw what she did against the Aces. And you mentioned like her blocks on Asia, and that's getting a lot of attention, but really both her and Angel Reese did a really good job on Asia. And like that's the thing, like some of that stuff, that dirty work that Angel does down in the trenches goes unnoticed, but she was battling for Asia Wilson for rebounds. And I think people need to understand that like Angel Reese is actually undersized at her position. And I don't know that people always realize that. So that she rebounds at that level that she does, there's been a lot of talk trying to minimize what Angel Reese has been doing on the glass to make it seem like it's insignificant, but it's not insignificant at all, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, look at this, 22 double-doubles. She ties Tina Charles for the most double-doubles by a rookie in a season. 3 straight games, never been done in the WNBA, with 20 rebounds.
Yeah.
Right? When it was first just 2 games in a row, right? That was the most, or tied with Shaq since like, I think it was like 96 or something like that, right? Like yeah. She, and I bring up Shaq because it was also like the most for like a WNBA player, and had never been done in WNBA history. And so the only other person that we could look to who had done it before was Shaq back in 96, right? Yeah. So that's incredible. That's why we're talking about him, because it hadn't been done in WNBA history. And now she's done it 3 times in a row. And we have people diminishing this. She has the potential to set the rebound record for the most rebounds in a season, not like for a rookie, but just like in a season. And based on everything we're seeing, she's going to blow that out of the park. And the only people on that list ahead of her are all legends. It's people like Asia Wilson. It's people like Alyssa Thomas. It's people like Tina Charles. Like, so she's struggling a little bit with her shot. And I think people have to be a little bit honest about that. Like, we saw some promise where her shot was looking better. Looks like she's in a little bit of a rut right now. But even in her college career, she still was around 50%. Teams are game planning for her more. They are trying to stop her on the glass. So, but if she can get a little bit more consistency, I think you're right, Callie, that she could really help them. Because if they could get some more consistent scoring from her, you have some other players on the team who are stepping up too. Allen has been great in their last couple of games, right? Like they have it there. They just need to get some consistency. Any final thoughts on the Sky?
Yeah, I mean, I think like you said, you definitely don't ever want to see people diminishing history. I mean, I think about that a lot as it pertains to Asia Wilson. Like, you really want to see historic things be honored in the moment without like some ulterior like distraction. So I think you're so right to highlight that and point out like what she's doing as a rookie. Just like take it out of whatever, you know, like, yes, the shooting can improve, but even like I've seen people be like, oh yeah, she's only rebounding her own shots. And like, we've talked about this and like, we don't need to rehash it, but like it's not even accurate. And it's like, even if that were true, it would still be impressive, you know? So I think that, like you said, like credit to Angel, she's doing something that we've never seen. And a lot of that is really just like her mental perseverance, which I think was huge on display against the Aces. Like, there were times where there was one sequence, I think I've seen it kind of floating around on Twitter too, but like it was probably like the 3rd quarter where Angel just was not quitting on the boards. And like the Asia was trying to go up with her. And like, it just, at one point you could see in Asia's face, she was like, okay, you know what I mean? Like that's how persistent Angel is. And so I think that, you know, like, let's give props. Let's give credit where credit's due.
Yeah. One word you always hear about Angel's her motor. NECA talked about it. Everyone talks about it. And so I have no doubt in the off season and when she needs to, she'll go work on, you know, her post moves and finishing. But for this season, if she can get a little bit more consistency for them and continue to be what she is for them on defense and continue to grab those boards, what do they call her and Camilla in Chicago? The skyscrapers. Like, I think people think that if they make the playoffs, they're going to be some easy out. And I don't. Right now, if you look at the playoff picture, they would match up against the Liberty. Do I think the Liberty would win that series? Absolutely. Do I think they would challenge the Liberty? Absolutely. They've beaten the Liberty this season. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. but Atlanta's there. Atlanta's looming. And so we'll see what happens with the Chicago Sky. But yeah, let's get to some other teams and the playoff picture elsewhere. But this was like a really fun conversation. That was a really great game yesterday. And I'm just so looking forward to the closing stretch of this season. It's going to be really, really good.
Me too.